Yeah, I think just excited to be here, excited to be back for our second year in the Sun Belt. I think obviously we learned a lot last year. Our first year playing in the Sun Belt, started out pretty rocky start at 1-5, and then got some confidence, went on a run there, and finished the last half 6-0, and certainly give our players confidence, I think, and our coaching staff to know that we can compete in the league. And then that's propelled us in the off season. I think we've had an outstanding off season, spring practice, and then leading up into the summer. We coming into the year now have 20 starters coming back next year, and ended up redshirting 19 players last year. So we have a lot of players to be able to work with this upcoming season. I think offensively and defensively we were pretty strong last year. I think we were awful in special teams, and I think that's the one thing we really focused on this off season. We'll be able to utilize some of the guys we redshirted last year, give us more depth to be able to help our special teams, and if we can get that up to par, then hopefully all three phases of our game will be solid, and we'll be able to to put a good product on the field and be a very competitive team headed into the fall in the Sun Belt. Chase.
No, you weren't kidding when you were talking about the journey you guys went on last year. You go 1-5, you get hot wins 6 in a row, and now you're sitting here at a point where you're being talked about as one of the favorites to win this league. So how do you go about helping your guys handle those expectations in such a really short time that you've been up here?
Yeah. Well, I think it was definitely the tale of two seasons last year with the 1-5 to 6-0. I think for us at App State, and it's over the last 20 years, we've won a lot of championships, Southern Conference championships, winning 3 national championships. I think there's a lot of high expectations in Boone, and there is every year. I think for us, last year, coming into the Sun Belt, we were picked, 7th or 8th or somewhere in the middle of the pack, and probably the first year in a long time that we were not picked pretty high for a conference championship. And so this year, we're preseason 4th, and some magazines may have us up to pick to win it. For us, it's just like any other year. We got to focus on one game at a time. And that's cliche talk, and coaches say it all the time, but that is the fact. The coaches and the teams, they can get their players focused and ready to play 12 times, or we'll be the one that wins the championship. This league here is very competitive from top to bottom. I think most every team will be a little bit better this coming season. I think a lot of guys have a lot of guys back. Most all coaching staffs are intact. I think it's going to be a very competitive year. For us, we're excited the fact that we have, some of the better teams supposedly that are coming into Boone this year. 2 on Thursday night with Arkansas State and Georgia Southern. And of course, Lafayette's coming in, in Thanksgiving weekend. So that's going to bode well, I hope, for us. So there are high expectations, but one that I'd rather have. We want to be there as opposed to the other side of that, where you're not picked to win any or whatever. We want to be picked to win the conference, and now we got to go play each and every week. And our kids, I think we have a mature bunch. If you go back over the last couple of years with our team, we were 4-8 2 years ago. We were 7-5 last year. We've had those 2 years of transition. You're not really playing for a whole lot. We've had a lot of adversity with our team. We've kind of scarred a lot. And that scarring, it makes our team a little bit hard. I think mentally hard. And so our team is, I think, ready for the challenge for this year to come up with the expectations. Yep.
You touched on it earlier. You said you had a lot of return starters coming back. So it was up to 20.
Yeah.
Every year you made progression. So now going into this season, what's the mindset of the team, knowing that they can win? Some magazines, like you said, pick the win.
Yeah.
What's their mindset going?
Well, their mindset's to go win the conference. That's their mindset, and that's the way they've been training. We've had our whole team has been up in Boone the whole summer. We actually did spring practice. We started the Saturday after signing date, so February the 6th, really early. Got spring practice finished, and then the last 4 months they've been in the weight room. They've been training on the field, in the weight room, all for one reason. That's to compete for the conference championship, and that's their goal. That's their mindset. These seniors have been those last 2 years have had to go through that transition. They're ready. They're ready now to compete for a championship and try to go to a bowl game. That's their mindset as we head into this season. Yeah. Well, it just shows we're close. You got to figure out a way to win. We lost we lost 21-20 at Southern Miss. We missed 4 kicks. We lost to Liberty on a 32-yard field goal at the end. I mean, you know, so, but that's football. I mean, you know, year in and year out, teams, you know, could be a 4-8 team or an 8-4 team. You got to find a way to win those games. But that's where a mature team comes into play, and I think we are certainly have matured a lot over the last half of the season last year, and then this whole off season. So we're bringing a little bit more mature team to the table this year, to where hopefully you can close out those games in the fourth quarter. You better be a fourth quarter team in the league if you want to win it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, my take is that we got to beat the teams that they're going to put in front of us. You know, in this league, there's 2 teams you don't get to play year in and year out. There's going to be 2. You don't know who they're going to be. You know, there's a 2-year rotation. So if we want to add another team, then we add another team, and then we'll see what happens from that point on. You know, there's been talk about a conference championship game or not. You know, so as a coach, all we can do is go out and prepare for what we have on our schedule and get our team the best chance to win. I mean, so that's where we're at with it. I'm whatever our conference as a group wants to do and what we feel our presidents need to do, then that's what we'll do. But I'm going to coach football.
Coach, you talked about maturity.
Yeah.
What was the factor last year when you got to the midpoint?
Well, I think there's probably a couple of things that led to that. I think one of those things was we made some personnel changes midway through the season, and that including we started 4 true freshmen on defense. And you know, that's really not maturity, is it? I mean, but they were the better players, and they just worked themselves into that role. And you know, one of those players, Latrell Gibbs, had 2 interceptions playing corner against Troy. That was our first conference win against Troy. That was a big win for us. And so those young players had some high impacts on us. I think Taylor Lamb was started to grow as a player. He was a freshman last year, so by the middle of the season he started to understand, you know, of how to make plays, and he started helping us win at the end. And then we started running the football. Marcus Cox got on a big time tear there toward the end. Our defense started playing a lot of great defense. So I think you combine all that, and we made a couple of kicks. We beat Monroe on the last second field goal. I mean, so you know, all those things combined enabled us to go on that winning streak.